Got
Um,
it.
so Phil, how are you? How is COVID treating you?
COVID's been treating me all right. I've been doing plenty of reading, plenty of running, been doing a bit of drinking in the evening.
So
So
you retrained and have a new parallel profession to
I, I
trombone.
do. I
Tell us about
retrained
that.
as a barber, as a gentleman's hairdresser, a couple of years ago. So I've been fully employed for about a year and a bit. Yeah,
And
it's
do you
great.
enjoy that?
I love it. It's brilliant. Loads of chat all day, using my hands, working my hands. Quite creative. Yeah, I really like the people I work with. Yeah,
Do you think
life's
you can
good.
help me with my concept?
I think your hair's looking magical. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, I
Well,
can't see the top of it.
I dyed it blue.
Oh, I see. I can't. Oh, I can see that now you mention it. I'm colorblind though, so that's. I don't do that. I don't do coloring. I am colorblind.
Um, and I'm interested to know how being a barber whether is it because you kind of wanted to change from being a jazz musician, or do you still feel like you're a jazz musician and this is a just another strand in your
Yeah, I
life?
still feel like a jazz musician. As you said, it's like a parallel sort of path. It's certainly, I have the luxury that I don't have to do things I don't want to do anymore. Making 100% of my earnings playing the trombone, which I did for 20 years. So this is it's very new. You know, it's
You've been
very
you
new.
trom you How old are you now?
Well, I'm 38, so yeah. If I started playing
Wow,
professionally when I was 16,
I still think of you as a young slip of a lad.
well, that's it. Well, just in comparison to you,
Wow, yeah, that's very kind of you to say that. We're actually exactly the same.
we're the same age. That's weird. I've
No,
always thought
we're
you to be a bit
age
older than
difference.
me.
We've stayed the same
Stayed the
age
same. Yeah,
difference. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
I actually think I met your dad before I met you
yeah. You will have done that. Yeah, yeah.
because we taught your dad. Phil's dad is a wonderful saxophone. He teaches beginner jazz saxophone really, really well. He's got a great thing for it, sort of skill for it.
Mm,
And we met. I think it was at Broughton. We were teaching on some weekend jazz course thing years and years ago.
that's right.
Did
Maybe
you
you
go
met.
to that as a
No.
student?
What? Broughton School?
No, the jazz courses that we were doing there.
I don't think so. No, I think maybe I'd left school, but then I can't remember. No.
And did your dad teach you much music?
A lot, yeah. When I was quite young, yeah. So, when I was around sort of 7, yeah. So I kind of learned to read music, and I dabbled on a few things, a bit of piano, and weirdly, I played the side drum and like the snare drum in a pipe band for a short time. Played the violin at primary school.
And you thought,
Then
no,
I
this is
started in
too.
the
This
was
drumming
that
is too cool. It's too sexy. I want to go more nerdy to the
it was
trombone.
too cool, yeah. But
And
that's
did you
that.
find it easy learning from your dad?
No, there's there's a lot of kind of yeah, not
Because
really.
my son's a very good musician, but he just didn't really want me to teach him
No,
stuff. It
and
was like,
at a young age, it was a bit like like it was just getting told. But then certainly but when I became a teenager, it got very difficult.
yeah, he was kind of like,
He'd,
no, you're
he'd,
all right,
he'd
thanks,
come
Dad.
in when I was, he'd come in the room when I was practicing and stuff, and be like, oh, why don't you try something? I'd be fuck off.
Yeah, I guess you absorb it though. From
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was massively useful. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
so we're doing Mingus tribute next week, which
Okay.
I think you played on it last time.
However,
Maybe
yeah,
you,
I remember enjoying it very much.
but we were raised on Mingus, and uh, I used to call myself Mingus, and my brother, who's larger than me, Hugh Mingus. Sorry, I had to get that joke in. Um, yeah, we were raised on better get it in your soul and stuff like that, and it was just the sort of thing. It was the sort of most modern end of my dad's record collection.
Right.
I don't know. Did you listen to a lot of Mingus when you were coming through?
When I was at college, yeah, I listened to a lot of it. I had to write. I wrote an essay on Mingus Alam,
Right.
which I believe I might have passed, which is
Oh,
probably a miracle at the time, age 19.
and he was quite a dark guy, Mingus. I think
Yeah,
complicated. I mean, I've actually got his autobiography,
Beneath the Underdog, or
Beneath the Underdog, yeah,
Beneath the Underdog.
which is kind of. It's kind of. Have you read it?
Yeah, I have, years ago. Yeah. Also, have you seen the film, like that Triumph of the Underdog? When he's been
the
evicted
documentary.
from his apartment. Yeah, he's been evicted from his apartment.
That's
He's
right.
Like, there's a bit when he just finds it all, and he finds a shotgun at one point. He's like finding the shotgun into there, and his daughter's just standing there. It's about 6. But it's really sad.
Yeah, and there's stories about him like having a knife and a gun at gigs and fighting with people and that sort of
He
stuff.
broke Jimmy Epper's teeth, didn't he? The trombone
Right.
player. He punched him in the face and broke his 2 front teeth. Yeah.
Well, we're hoping to recreate that sort of energy next week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mario's gonna have to punch me right in the face.
Well, we've got to do it. We've got to do it in a socially distanced way. So we're getting these sort of boxing gloves on long sticks.
You get one of those ones like one of those ones you pull a trigger that comes out like a pound.
Yeah.
Or that sounds about right. Yeah, good.
Well, we're looking forward to having you to visit very much, Phil. Have you got any music online that people could go and listen to, or stuff they could download or buy?
Nah, nothing.
Really?
I'm like a ghost online.
Okay, well, you're going to be online after next week because...
Hey, that'll be a start. That's excellent.
Yeah. Second question, have you ever cut a customer and drawn blood?
Yeah, I have, actually. I'm not sure if I should really talk about it.
What, well, I was interested to know, what do you say when that's happened?
We can take this up. You just got to say sorry. Really sorry.
It must be a moment. It must be a moment.
It is a moment. Yeah, I'd like to say it was a very long time ago, but
was it because there was a pretty girl walking past the shop and you just?
It wasn't that. I was like, oh, that, like a sort of...
I once had this big band gig at Glasgow Jazz Festival. Had this tango in the middle of it where me and John Ray were smashing plates over each other's heads. I can remember the audience sort of. Do you know, like a cornfield in a gale? It kind of, they were like ducking as these bits of crockery were flying into the. Anyway, this one guy got hit and he was bleeding, and I found out who it was, and wrote him a letter apologising profusely for him being injured.
You probably loved it though, didn't you?
I got this beautiful letter back saying, "Don't be silly. It was one of the best gigs I've ever seen. I feel proud to have been injured during it."
Probably the highlight of his life, that guy.
He loved it. Because you don't get injured at gigs much these days. It's a shame.
Not enough, I don't think.
How are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to think about when we first met.
When did we first meet, Tom?
I think it was in the mid to late 60s in a uterus in Streatham.
Yeah, possibly was. Yeah.
I've just been speaking to Phil O'Malley.
Yes.
Who you're performing with next week, and he's has a parallel career as a barber, and you've recently,
does he now?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Yeah.
You've recently made a big hair change. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah. Well, my 10-year-old son Angus, he's got a bit of a hairdresser thing. He likes cutting hair. Happy to give him a sort of fun adventure, but it all depends on the shape of the head. You just don't know until you get down there whether it's going to look like a killer or somebody out of Lost or something. So
you do have an identical twin that has shaved his head quite a few times.
Yeah, but he's got a different shaped head.
That's true.
Because he went out the birth canal first, so it was pummeled by tectonic forces.
You've got the perfect head as God intended.
But anyway, so I promised him that he could shave my head. So Angus did the line down the middle with a 0 setting, and then that was it. Point of no return. So I have bought myself a hat, bit Walter White, slightly Heisenberg, I think. But
is it fair to say that you held up the dude from Big Lebowski for many years as an iconic figure?
Well, I was working on I've got a twin brother. His name was Tom. I don't know if you've met him, but he went through a phase of being slightly annoying, and And I was working under the theory for a while that I was the dude and my twin brother Tom was Walter, because Walter's a bit pompous and sort of know-it-all. And I thought this was a really good theory because I came out well, because the dude's sort of likable and cool and, you know, he's sort of lovable, as Walter's a pain in the ass and annoying. But then the horror, I realised that actually, if you go back and review the film, Walter's sort of right about everything.
And dude's a bit of an asshole.
No, dude's, I don't think dude's an asshole, but Walter was right about everything on a sort of factual basis.
I'm sorry, he's very charming. If he was going out with your daughter, you'd think he was a complete waste of space. He looked like the dude for about 10 years. I mean, obviously, slightly bigger. So now you look like Heisenberg. So it's kind of, you've moved on to a new paradigm.
I'm keeping up with this sort of style, cultural sort of cutting edge, 8 years out of date all the time.
But what's your relationship with Mingus? We're playing Mingus music next week.
My dad had I don't know what was set like with your dad. My dad had a great, not massive, but really sort of some really nice jazz records. The great couple of Clifford Brown records, and jazz at Massey Hall, Charlie Parker, and he had Mingus and it's just a stunning record, and it's sort of almost like a sort of caricature of what really swinging, cool, amazing jazz should sound like. It's like, you know, the whole melodic invention and arrangement. I mean, I was thinking about him today, that I think him and Ellington are the two guys that have totally mastered this sort of balance between harmony and melody and rhythm and in composition and arrangement. This sort of, so everything's balanced. There's quite a lot of big band or big large group or large ensemble writers where the arrangement is the thing that sort of they're showing off, and it for me it all gets a bit dense and a bit flashy, and I don't particularly like that sort of really sort of virtuosic big band thing, just because I don't think the music is as good. I think it becomes a sort of vehicle for stuff, and it becomes a vehicle for the arranger as much as anything else. Whereas Ellington and Mingus, everything's in balance. The harmony, the bass motion, the melody, the arrangement, the improvisations, the use of improvisation. It's just this perfect music.
I normally do a joke where I ask the interviewee what they thought of the first half of the gig that's not happened yet.
They're lovely people, just that they're physically so unappealing. You know, I like to have a certain amount of the package. You're looking for the whole package, and those guys, they're not really the best physical specimens, so it's difficult. I find it difficult to listen to the music. If only they're a little bit more attractive. That's all I can say. I think their music's beautiful, but they let themselves down with they haven't got this. You know what I mean? They need a bit more.
Are you being ironic? No,
yeah, I'm being ironic. They are very beautiful on the outside and the inside, and they're very beautiful musicians.
But I mean, there are cycles to male beauty. So there's sort of the beauty of the young man in their 20s, but then that can get a little bit confused.
Oh yes,
when they hit their 30s and 40s, as they lose that youthful perfection.
The sheen comes
off.
Starts
to leave its trace on their you know. But then they become these gnarled beauty. You know, like, I would say you are one of those older. You suddenly found this great physical appeal. Again, after you were very attractive for about 2 weeks when you were 17, and
well, it's nice you said that.
And,
no,
it's been great talking to you. Playing music with you next week.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. I love to all the Playtime team, and I think it's great what you guys are all doing.
Thank you very much.
I'll see you and possibly tomorrow. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. Lots of love.
Lots of love.
Bye.
Bye.